Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus here in Arlington, Texas. This is the Profit Break. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you're going to be well on your way to improving yourself and your profitability. Now, you're probably often challenged with keeping up with the recreational trends in our industry and trying to determine what's the best use of square footage that you may have. Now, making the wrong decision can be costly, both in the short and the long term for your business. Understanding your next steps to modernize, expand, or even build is critical. Now, you don't have to guess what to do next because today's guest is going to help you make the best decision for your facility. David Wallace is the founder of Turfway Entertainment Management Group. Now, David is and the Turfway team have worked on over 90 successful projects throughout North America, helping operators minimize risk and do it right the first time and turn their dreams into reality. David, great to see you again. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Bart. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Now, we're excited that you're going to be joining us again at Bowl Expo. Your topic was one of the most attended last time, relevant subjects. So let's start off with, what have you been working on since the last time we spoke with you?
Oh, man. We have a lot going on right now. We have, I could tell you, the movie theater industry is actually moving into adding bowling and arcades and other attractions as well. We're doing a couple Topgolf type concepts, pickleball type concepts. The industry's on fire, believe it or not. I thought with the interest rates going up and pricing going up, it would slow down. It's all but that. It's really taken off, and there's no slowdown in sight, at least on our end.
Well, that's exciting to hear for the industry and for you. We're excited about that. So let's talk about how you can help. So one of the first things is you recommend starting out with a feasibility and a market study. And tell us a little bit about if we're thinking about reconfiguring some of the existing space or what to do with some new space. Why does that even matter and why do you need it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good question. When we start getting in this industry about 15 years ago, I didn't even know what a feasibility study was. And then as I got deeper into the weeds, we realized that banks are requiring now feasibility studies. And the reason and rationale behind that is you might have a great idea, but great ideas need to be vetted. So if I'm going to a bank and asking for $2 to $3 to $4 million, and my equity or the money I have to put in is 20 to 30%. The rest of it's coming from the bank. And as it comes from the bank, they're going to want to know if their money's protected. So they're utilizing someone that's been in the industry a very long time to tell them, or a second pair of eyes to see if it's the right path for them. And that helps make their decision. Same thing with the SBA, the Small Business Administration. If you're getting a 7A or 504 loan, it's all but required that you have a business plan and feasibility study just for that same factor.
So, David, I've heard you use the term before, competitive intrusion, a competitive intrusion analysis. So that may be a new term for many joining us today. Tell us a little bit about what you mean by that and why that plays a role in this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we look at when we go to a market and engage a client, we look for all the competition in that market. In that market, competition can be entertainment, it could be a movie theater, it could be a very busy restaurant, some retail outlets, whatever's just are pulling the disposable income out of that market. As we dig in a little deeper, we take the top 10 and we do something called a competitive intrusion analysis. So when you start looking at these businesses, they could be an asset or liability against your brand. And it's really how well it's positioned in the market that determine that. So not only will you understand what's in the market by doing a competitive analysis, you'll understand pricing and positioning. And what I mean by that, we take the top 10 competitors and rank them in 10 different categories, like aesthetic appeal, cleanliness, repair and maintenance, staffing, digital presence, digital scoring, party opportunities. And then we take the mean average of the top, we rank those 1 through 10 and take the top 10 and then benchmark those to determine not only what's in the market, as I discussed before, but how much perfume you're going to have to put in the market to compete with what's in the market. So a lot of proprietors, they've been in their business for many, many years and they're working 50, 60 hours a week. They really don't know. They hear people are coming to the market and they know that people are in the market, but they don't know how well they're positioned in the market. And this will identify to them what the best opportunity would be for the retrofit of their property for three things: highest revenue, profitability, and long-term sustainability in that market.
And David, you said something that I want to dig a little deeper there that I think is important for folks joining us today, is that when we think about competition, we often think about it being a negative, right? All competition is bad. But I heard you say that when in this competitive intrusion, that you're determined whether a competitor could be a positive or a negative. So is there a scenario where a competitor could be, good for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We see it all the time. I mean, just because there's entertainment in the market doesn't mean it's all going to work against you. Some of these entertainment facilities are poorly positioned, and people go there because they still want to socialize with their kids and be involved in the community, but it's not the best positioned one for them. So if I can tweak my new business and have, if cleanliness and repair and maintenance are very, very low on the spectrum for the other opportunities, that's one of my key focus. It should be one of your key focuses anyway, but the parents will look at the new opportunity and almost quickly jump over to the new opportunity because the other old opportunity is not relative to them anymore.
Yeah. So we know we need a feasibility study. We've got to get in and understand that competitive intrusion. We've made those decisions. You talked a little bit about this in the opening. Some of the trends you're seeing. What are some of the trends you're seeing in expanding the brand, maybe building, modernizing? What's happening out there right now?
Yeah, I mean, we are a foodie nation, and the foodie nation, what I mean by that in our world is it's a very sensorial environment. Almost everyone's been to a Dave & Buster's, a Main Event, a Pinstack, some of these larger entities, and they're using that as a benchmark for when they come into your facility. So, having your environment very, very well positioned in the market to be well received on an aesthetic appeal, and with all the other things I talked about. In addition to that, we're seeing everything's moving quickly to what we call from an attraction-based center to a social-based center by leveraging food and beverage against the entertainment. There's two things that are commodities in entertainment that are very important: money and time. People have money, they don't have time to spend it. So less and less people are going out to eat and then going to an entertainment center. And if I bring food into my building, I want to make sure that food is palatable. I just don't want to throw stuff on a paper plate from Cisco and send it out. People will spend money if you can bring it together. You're keeping the time shortened by them eating, drinking, and playing all under one roof.
Yeah, absolutely. The food plays such a critical role. So let's drill down in the unit level a little bit and talk about location of the attractions and types. Does it matter when you're thinking about where to lay this out and the flow and kind of the guest journey? How does that even matter?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it really comes down to what attractions. I mean, one thing you got to remember is entertainment's all about energy. And when I walk into a building, and if there's lack thereof on the energy side, right there, it could be a negative impression for my guests. What we like to do is put the arcade right in the front. As soon as you walk in the door, you're almost immediately immersed in the arcade. And the reason for that is the illumination of the arcades, the sound of the arcades. You're creating energy right out of the get-go. People want to be able to see as much as they can when they walk in the door, and more I'm seeing this happen. But sometimes I'm seeing attractions very compartmentalized, and they're off the beaten path. Parents want to have good sight lines for their kids. One thing that I would tell you too, which is critical, is having seating in your facility. People want a hub. They want to sit there. They'll spend 2.5 hours in a facility if there's comfortable seating for the parents. And they'll wait up to 2 hours to bowl as long as they have something else to do, whether it's eating, having some cocktails, playing some other games. And then like I said, the flow just has to be there. It has to be, the more that it's off the beaten path, mom can't see them anymore, the less time they're going to spend there because they don't feel comfortable with their kids leaving. In a lot of situations, for instance, we take one of our biggest opportunities, we put a bar and dining right in the middle of an arcade, and then we build an arcade around it. And we realize that mom and dad's sitting there watching sports on TV, so it's an adult pacifier for them. They can see their kids with great sight lines, and then at halftime, mom and dad's not leaving because they came there for that game, and little Johnny comes up, hey, I'm out of money, here's another $20, go away, I want to watch my game. So laying out a facility is critical to get the right opportunity, like I said, for the highest revenue and profitability.
Yeah, some great tips in there for folks, and I know you're going to unpack a lot of that when you're with us in Denver. I've got time to sneak in one more for you today, if I can, and it kind of feeds off of what you're talking about. Once you establish the layout and the flow and all the tips that you shared with us, what about size? Does size matter? There's a lot of different size of footprints. Is there a minimum? Is too much? Is such thing as too much? I mean, any high-level thoughts on, when you're thinking about the size of the facility?
Yeah, I mean, as we know, bowling lanes are 110 feet by 11.5 per pair. They chew up a lot of space. Arcades have grown to about 75 square feet per piece for ADA regulations. If I have laser tag, it's 2,500 square feet to 3,500 square feet. All of these are critical in laying out the right environment. Now, you got to be very cautious too of, which age that you're targeting. And I'll touch on this when I do my session, because not all groups play together. You can't be something for everyone. So when you lay this out, understand who you want to be, how you're going to target that audience, and understand that the attractions that you're going to implement all have different sizes. But the critical factor is making sure you have that seating opportunity and a good food and beverage program. And that's really going to dictate your size. A lot of people try to make them too small. They don't have enough opportunity for people to come in and spend money. Some of them make them too large. And when they make them too large, they have a lot more staff for all the wrong reasons, higher cost of utilities, and so on and so forth. So size does matter. Making sure that you have the right opportunity is a critical factor.
Well, thank you, David. It's a lot to think about, a lot of critical decisions, and we're looking forward to having you with us in Denver to help unpack all of that.
Great. Thanks for having me, Bart.
Awesome. Well, hey, gang, if you're not sure what's the best use of your facility, then make sure you join us for David's Bowl Expo session on July 3rd in Denver. You are not going to want to miss it. Now, if you're ready to start improving your profitability, you can reach us anytime at education@bpa.com. So as we wrap up another edition of The Profit Break, remember, when your focus is on growing people, people grow your business. Now, this episode, as well as all our previous Profit Break episodes, are available 24/7 for you and your team at bowlinguniversity.net. Plus, we have new episodes every month. Mark your calendar, watch your email, join us on Facebook to hear about all the latest episodes. Until then, I'm Bart Berger, and remember, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.